Formula First, and this is where the rising stars of New Zealand motorsport start from. We've got 14-year-old Nick Cassidy, Matthew Stubbs, Ryan Hillier in there, Bramwell King, he's another one, and Wanganui's Matt Gibson. Throw in the experience of Michael Shepherd and Ian Foster. We're in for some very interesting racing.
Well, let's take in the highlights from race number 1, and on pole position it was Michael Shepherd, the three-time champion, coming back to some of his better form. And he was shouted all away by the 14-year-old sensation, the Speed Sport Scholarship winner, and that was Nick Cassidy. Big field of Formula First here at Manfield for the second round of their championship. By lap 2, it was Shepherd that was making the moves in the Go Rental Challenge around the outside of Nick Cassidy. Freight trains formed as they usually do here at Manfield, and Cassidy was racy as ever as they came down into Toyota for lap number 3. Also in the mix was car 17, and that was Matthew Stubbs, the local lad, and Ian Foster, the veteran, just sitting close. There was a problem for Stubbs, and that allowed Foster to move through into third, but it also allowed Michael Shepherd to get into the front. But he wasn't alone, as Cassidy challenged every time he could as the laps ran down. Cassidy had a sensational first round at Taupo, but at Manfield, it was the three-time champion coming back to his best form and winning race number 1. In second place, it was the teenager Cassidy, and in third, it was Wanganui's Matt Gibson. Fourth place went to Matthew Stubbs, and well down the order was Ian Foster. So official results see Michael Shepherd coming back to form from Cassidy, Gibson, Stubbs, Bramwell King, Ryan Hellier, Bradley McDonald and Brian McConkey, the veteran, in 8th. 9th place was Jamie Gaskin from Wellington. And look at that, in 11th place, Ian Foster, a plug lead, slowing his progress. Well, if you have a look at the grid for race number 2, it is Michael Shepherd on pole. Alongside him, the teenage sensation, Nick Cassidy. But look where Ian Foster will start. He'll start from 4th. He had a little bit of a problem in race number 1 and wasn't quite as quick as he should have been. Look for a good start, too, from Michael Neville and Andrew Vincent in 12th and 13th. Once again, I'm joined by past champion, or in fact the current champion of the New Zealand Formula First, and that is Cliff Field. And good to see Michael Shepherd coming back into some form.
Well, it's been a while there, Phil, and all last season Michael struggled with car issues, and it appears as though he's got it sorted for this year.
And it is Shepherd that leads them into Toyota for the first time, and going with him, Nick Cassidy and also Matthew Stubbs. Ian Foster just got swamped off the line there, further back through the field than we would have expected to see him.
Not sure what happened there. I think possibly Ian had a gear change problem. I can't see any other reason for pulling away so slowly.
Now, you were saying that conditions are absolutely perfect today here at Manfield. Nice, good, grippy track and not too cold.
Well, the conditions are pretty much perfect for our cars at the moment. Good track grip and high air density coupled with no wind makes for extremely fast lap times. Qualifying was just phenomenal.
And you've got a personal stake in that too, Cliff, because you were in the 122s last year, but 5 drivers in the 122s this weekend.
Well, it was a bit of a bummer for me, actually, Phil. I was standing there in the timing monitors yesterday morning during qualifying session, watching the guys just absolutely tumble that time. So, yeah, great to see that the class is improving.
So out in the race, it is still Michael Shepherd, the Go Rentals Innovate Challenge, out in the lead. Right in beside him, it's Nick Cassidy, the Speed Sport Scholarship winner. And here's the big challenge coming from the 22-year-old auto electrician Matthew Stubbs on the outside. It's a long way around Dunlop as well, you'd know, Cliff.
Yeah, that's right. Matt really has to work it perfectly out of Higgins to get that to work. But as we head down the front straight here, I'm sure you'll see Cassidy go to the outside and Matthew will tuck in behind Michael.
All the experts, and you've said it to me as well, Cliff, say second place is the best place to be at Manfield with 1 to go.
Coming out of Higgins, you really want to be in second, but you want to give yourself a good couple of lengths to get enough momentum on the car in front to be able to slingshot around. If you're too close, you lose a lot of that effect and you end up just stuck there.
Well, it's a three-way battle at the front at the moment, and it is Nick Cassidy, the youngster. And what a sensation this kid is. He had a fantastic first round in Taupo, and here we are in round 2 of the Dateline Imports Well Formula First, and it is Cassidy leading the train. Stubbs in second place, then it's Shepherd, and then I think we'd go back to Matt Gibson, the local, in the LV.
We can see Ian Foster also catching up the back of the pack there after his bad start, so it looks like Ian's made the most of the bad start and caught the front pack there.
That's right, and Ryan Hellier in there as well, car number 26. There is Foster. So he's making up for a bad job, as Cliff told you. Meantime, at the front, these guys are trying to gap the rest of the field.
You'll see Ian move through on Ryan there. This will probably set him up for a nice run down the back straight. I think he's behind Matt Gibson at the moment. Yeah, that's a good length, good toe length right there, Phil. So if he manages to time that right, he should be good come the end of the straight.
Well, I've talked about it in the past about the drafting, but it's so important in these cars, isn't it?
Oh, it's absolutely everything, Phil. And here we see, Michael right down the inside. That's an incredible move.
Well, he was probably helped by Nick Cassidy, just drifting a little bit wide coming out of Dunlop, but it's the three-time champion back in the front. Glued to his gearbox is Matthew Stubbs, then it's Cassidy, and then it is Matt Gibson and Ian Foster right there as well. Well, it didn't take the veteran long to get onto this little group. Behind them, it's car number 26, and that is Ryan Hellier from Auckland.
Well, this is where it all starts to get really busy. You're really going to start jostling for that coveted second place right now. And I think that Ian's working this one very well at the moment. As I say that, Matt Gibson tries to get up the inside as they head into Splash.
Well, Gibson took the track record in race number 1. This is race 2 of 3 for the weekend. It's round 2 of the Formula First National Championship. And it is Michael Shepherd, the three-time champion, in the front. Second place is the teenager, that's Nick Cassidy, then it's Stubbs, then it is Foster by the look of it. So Matt Gibson just shuffled back a little bit behind him. It is Ryan Hellier and Dave Ruthven up there as well. So good run for Dave Ruthven in this one.
Well, I thought for a while there that Ryan Hellier was going to be dropped from the pack, but it appears that the jostling at the front enabled him to catch back up. So again, we've got 6 or 7 cars up there.
Well, once again, as they work their way through Higgins, it's a big move trying to come round the outside from Nick Cassidy. Doesn't work for him. And down the back straight they go now as the laps wind down here in the Formula First. It's race number 2, and it's the three-time champion in the front. But look at the move coming from Stubbs around the outside. 3 wide as they head into Dunlop. Who's going to go to the break first? On the inside it is Shepherd. Around the outside of him comes Nick Cassidy. Well, that was a brave move, Clifffield, and it's worked. So Cassidy back into second place now as they come across the stripe. Laps running out here in the Formula First.
More importantly, I see Ian Foster moving up there too. Matthew Stubbs went to go to the outside, and Ian saw his opportunity and ducked right down the inside into Dunlop. So it's really worked well for Ian.
So Cassidy goes for the win as they work their way around Toyota. Oh, and he's gone wrong. Oh, and that's Ian Foster that's gone wrong. My apologies to the young bloke. Foster drifts off the track, and it's going to cost him big time here. Well, he had problems in race number 1. He had a loose spark plug lead, and it cost him. He finished just outside the top 10. A small mistake. Oh, and someone else has made a mistake just getting a wheel off, and I think that might have been Bramwell King.
Bramwell's having a great race there in 5th at the moment.
Well, one of his best performances we've seen from the man from Palmerston North. We should have said the boy, because he's barely in his teens.
That's right, a real young driver this year for the Formula First class. There's several of them that have come through over the years, and yeah, Bramwell's definitely an example of that. Good to see him on the pace here.
Well, there's one of them in the front at the moment. That's young Nick Cassidy. Second, Michael Shepherd, the three-time champion. Then it is Stubbs, and then it would be Matt Gibson.
I wouldn't discount Ian Foster here either. He's there behind Bramwell at the moment as they head down the back straight. That little mishap there is going to really give Ian a boost. If he catches the front pack here, he might have a chance getting a good lap time.
Well, it's Shepherd that pulls out of the draft and tries to get around Cassidy as they go through Dunlop again. And look at this, Stubbs is right back into it, so too is Gibson. Cliffield's mentioned Ian Foster. Well, there he is behind Bramwell King. He's got a bit of work to do, but there's still laps to do it.
I think the trick here, Phil, is that when you've got a gap like that, if you can work your laps nicely enough, you can pull a really good lap time, which will move you up the grid for the next race. Oh,
there's a problem there for the 55, and that is Mike Lovell from Wellington.
Mike's running in this weekend. He's come back into racing after a year in Australia, and he's just running his motor in, so that's not the best way to do it there. 97 there of Andrew Vincent, in behind him Michael Neville, young Jamie Gaskin in there as well in the 41 as we go back to this enthralling battle at the front of the field. Man, how many leader changes have we seen? It's Nick Cassidy back in the front now. Shepherd in second place. Foster, well, you picked it, Cliff. He's right up there again. He's in contention. He's in third. He's got in front of Matthew Stubbs. I would be keeping my eye on Ian at this stage if I was Michael, that's for sure. You've got to protect your second place at this stage, and sure as anything, Ian's going to be wanting it.
Here comes Shepherd once again. Plenty of experience under the helmet of Michael Shepherd, 3 times a champion in the first, but of course he's done a little bit of V8 touring car driving, a little bit of kart racing, you name it, he's done it, but he's back to where he likes to be, and he's back to his best form, you'd have to say, Cliff. He struggled a bit in Taupo.
That's right, actually. All last year he had a few issues with the car that took them a while to solve, and he's managed to get that sorted for this round, and he's right back into it. Oh, that was
well,
close.
Look at the move there from Foster. You picked it just absolutely dead right, Clifffield. You said watch Ian Foster. We're watching him, and he's brilliant. Number 10, Foster's hit the front. You mentioned it before. I mentioned it. You want to be in second going into Higgins on the last lap. We're on the last lap. Is Michael Shepherd in the box seat here?
Michael is going to work as hard as he can to protect his position into Higgins, which is where it really counts. And if he can manage to stay where he is now, he's got a very good chance of getting it before the line.
Oh, Nick Cassidy just drifting out a little bit wide as they go through the infield S's here at Manfield, and that maybe is going to cost him a position. He sits up there in 4th place for the moment, but it's Foster leading. into the hairpin they go now, and down the Dennyholm straight it'll be, and then we come into the all-important Higgins corner. You listen to Clifffield. Now watch where the cars are placed. Watch for the number 34 of Michael Shepherd. He sits in second place. Clifffield says that's where you want to be. Here comes the challenge from Stubbs, though, under brakes, trying to go around the outside of Shepherd. Oh, that's never going to work.
You'll note that Michael stayed to the inside there to force Matthew to go around, and that protects Michael's position for the run down the back straight. So we'll see how that goes for Michael. He looks like he's set up in a very good position to make the move.
Well, here it comes. It's challenge on challenge at the front. It's the Scorpion race cars prepared. Ian Foster. Here comes Shepherd around the outside as they go through the big sweeper at the top end here at Manfield. He's got the nose in front. Well, you picked it absolutely dead right, Clifffield, because Michael Shepherd has got the nose in front. Foster's betwixt and between. He doesn't know which way to go, and Shepherd takes an exciting race number 2. So the official results see the champion back to his best. Michael Shepherd wins the battle, but Ian Foster gets a track record in taking second. Matthew Stubbs is third and Nick Cassidy fourth. Further down through the field, Bradley McDonald having a good battle there with Jamie Gaskin, and Michael Neville coming through in 12th place.
Matt, what a race, and you end up here on the podium, third place.
Yeah, the Hydrolink Sabre Motorsport car's been going all weekend, ever since Friday when we took it out the truck. I was on the pace, so yesterday I made a little mistake in the last lap, so it's good to be here.
Yeah, 3 wide coming onto the front straight, off the back straight, incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty much what we had to do. I had a terrible start, ran wide at Toyota, sorry, got pushed out there. So yeah, basically just had to claw my way through, and we want to win, so that's what you got to do.
You finished first, but a lot happened in between.
There's a fair bit of stuff going on out there. It's like a game of chess, as I said before, but my aim is not to go back too far back in the field. I think once you get past sort of third, you can get boxed in. I think the second lap I was back in third, which wasn't my plan, but managed to get back.
But all that's academic, because cutting through them like a knife through butter is a Hydrolink car of Matthew Stubbs. Stubbs into the front as they head into Toyota. Is it a little bit too early yet, Cliff, to sort of show your colours?
I think so. You really need to be waiting till, say, 3 laps to go before you really position yourself. Right now, at this time, you just want to make sure everything's solid in the car and you stay clean on the track.
But I guess in these 8-lap race, it's really a sprint for these guys, and the pace has been so hot, you've got to have your best.
That's correct. You really need to be at the top of your game. The trick with most of the racing here is to stay within the top 4 or 5 throughout, and then, as I say, last few laps, really try and manoeuvre yourself into that second place that you need so dearly.
Well, it worked so well in the last race for Michael Shepherd. He's won 2 from 2. Here comes the challenge again down the Dennyholm straight here at Manfield, and Stubbs repels it. Shepherd thought twice about going around the outside through Higgins.
Difficult to do. You really need a good line to be able to do that. You've got to hope that the guy down the inside is squeezed enough to lose a bit of momentum so you can keep the pace and stay around the outside. Here we see Ian going to the outside. This will be bold.
Well, expert comments and opinion coming from the defending champion in Formula First, and that is Clifffield. He's sitting out this season, but he's watching and he's helping us, and boy, is he getting excited sometimes when the racing gets good, and it's been good all season long so far. No reason for that to change. Kaiser Compressors, Ian Foster in the front, the Go Rentals challenge in second place. Matthew Stubbs diving down the inside, and going with them is the youngster. I can't say enough about this young 14-year-old kid. He is a bit of a sensation. He's a bit of a sensation in karts. Well, he's a sensation in Formula First as well.
He's certainly made some waves when he's come to the class this year, and he's definitely one to watch for the future, I'm sure.
And of course, he's following in the footsteps of all the other Speed Sport magazine Sabre Motorsport scholarship winners. He's got pretty big boots to fill.
Absolutely correct. We've got Alistair Wooten running in the Toyota Racing Series at the moment. Of course, we've had Shane Van Gisbergen, of course, who's running in the V8s at the moment.
Well, one of the star pupils of Formula First, you cast your mind back a long, long way, is Scott Dixon, Indy 500's winner.
Absolutely. I mean, what a great thing for Formula First to be able to say that they've produced a driver of Scott's calibre. It's awesome.
Well, we've got some real good drivers out there at the moment, but it's the veteran Ian Foster up against the 3-time champion Michael Shepherd. That's the order at the moment. Stubbs through in third place. Then I think it'll be Matt Gibson, and he's sort of been there or thereabouts all weekend. In fact, it isn't just in front of him. It is Nick Cassidy. Then it's Gibson.
They've had issues with the car, which they've finally sorted out, and you see it in the results here. Matt's really working hard to stay with the front bunch there. It looks like he's making a move on Nick down the inside.
Well, action aplenty as they head into Dunlop. That's where we've seen a lot of the passing in the 2 previous Formula First races. Shepherd in the front, Foster in second, Stubbs, then it's Gibson, then it's Cassidy.
Dunlop really is the most critical corner on the circuit in terms of race position. You want to make sure that you've lined the car up in front, give yourself enough room to either dive down the inside or the outside to take the win.
How many times have we seen drivers try to go around the outside through turn 1 here at Manfield, and it hardly ever works? Good battle for the minors there, Jamie Gaskin and also Dave Ruthven.
Interesting to note here that Matt Gibson's now hauled right back onto the back of these guys. I wouldn't be surprised if he's pulled another very good lap time in this race.
So this field works through the infield S's here at Manfield. Shepherd leads it. Foster, the perennial bridesmaid, sits in second place.
If there's anyone that deserves to win the championship this year, I think it'll be Ian. He's really had the goods for the last couple of years, and through circumstances beyond his control, hasn't managed to get the job done.
Well, that's right. I mean, the racing is so close. Well, you know, Cliff, you're the defending champion. You know what it takes to win these things. And as you say, Ian hasn't been able to put it quite together yet.
Well, I think that last year Ian was off the back foot straight away. There was a bad crash in the very first race of the very first round, and that gave me a points lead, and Ian struggled to chase that for the rest of the year.
I'll tell you a guy that hasn't been struggling today, and that's Michael Shepherd, back to his form, but now trying to repel the challenge of Matthew Stubbs in the Hydrolink car. And while he leaves the door open slightly down the inside, comes the Speed Sport Scholarship winner. So Nick Cassidy works his way up into second place now as they head across the stripe here at Manfield once again. And look at Foster. He's just about got a wheel on the grass.
You see that time and time again. If you take the outside line, it leaves you open to other people ducking down the inside to the car that you're drafting in front, and you end up being boxed out on the outside there, and then you'll lose multiple positions down the straight. Matthews managed to hold on to third there, which is a great recovery.
Well, we see another good drive coming from car 15, Bramwell King, the Daytona Indoor Raceway sponsored machine, just sitting up there in that lead group. He's had a fantastic weekend.
Certainly has. He qualified as high as he's ever qualified this weekend, so it's great to see Bramwell up there.
It's Matt Gibson just in behind him in the Firewatch car. Meantime, out in the front, it is the youngster. It's that kid again, Nick Cassidy, in the Speed Sport Scholarship, Sabre Motorsport Sabre. Dennis Martin doing a fantastic job for Formula First, as he has for years and years and years, both as a driver and now as a mentor. And boy, oh boy, he can really put his hand up and say, look, I've brought on so many drivers, and one of them is Cassidy, although he's just lost first place as they come out of Higgins now to Michael Shepherd.
We see in the background there too, Ryan Hallier trying to hang on to the back of the front bunch. Ryan's had a pretty tough season so far. His Winter Series results were really good, but things haven't gone right for him with the engine so far this season.
Well, that's right. Well, let's talk about that, because you mentioned that sometimes some of the drivers have problems with some of the cars. We might come back to that as this gets a bit more exciting at the front of the field again. Shepherd back in the lead, Cassidy in second. Here comes the veteran, Ian Foster. Stubbs is going with him. So too Bramwell King.
Bramwell's having a great race here, just biding his time and sitting in there. As I say that, he ducks down the inside of Matthew Stubbs.
Well, we know these cars are 1200cc powered, so they're very even, but what can and can't you do to them? How do you set them up to work well? You know, what are the secrets?
There's really not a heck of a lot you can do with the handling, so it all comes down to your jet settings and accelerator pump settings. Of course, these engines being carbureted, it's a bit of a dying art, so it's a great skill to still have to be able to get these cars to work well.
Here we are, you hear the good oil from the Formula First coming from Cliff Field. He's the defending champion in the series. As we zoom in on number 2, the Kaiser Compressor Challenger, Ian Foster currently sitting in third spot. It's the youngster Nick Cassidy in the Speed Sport magazine. Oh, problems there. Oh, Bramwell King was involved, and I think that is the Stubbs 17 as well.
Bramwell ran up the back of Ian Foster there, I think, exiting the hairpin, and that's poor old luckless Matthew Stubbs has yet again picked up someone else's nose cone.
Well, is he going to be able to continue, because it's forced his nose cone off as well, and that's really going to play havoc with not only the car's handling but its aerodynamics, and that's so important in these little cars.
Well, I think Matthew's probably best served at this point in time to try and shake the nose away so that he doesn't receive a safety flag and have to bring the car in.
Well, drama in the back of the lead pack, but drama at the front of the field as well, because it is the man that has ruled Manfield out in the front once again. It's Michael Shepherd. Foster in second place. Then it is Cassidy up there as well. Bramwell King, without the nose cone, is battling with Matt Gibson. That's a battle for 4th and 5th.
Bit of a struggle there without the nose cone, although sometimes it doesn't actually affect you as much as you would expect it to.
Last lap, can Michael Shepherd make it a clean sweep here at Manfield? It's round 2 of the Dateline Imports well Formula First, and it's the 3-time champion calling the tune. He won race number 1, he won race number 2. Is he going to win race number 3? You've got to factor in the point that you made earlier, Cliff, is you need to be in second place in Higgins if you want to win, and strangely enough, that's where Ian Foster is at the moment.
He's in a beautiful position to make it happen now. It'll just be interesting to see if he can. He's really got to concentrate on defending that position into Higgins to make sure he stays there for the run down the back straight.
Right, well, let's not discount Bramwell King or Nick Cassidy. That's the battle for 3rd and 4th at the moment, but let's have a look. Here comes Foster looking for the move as they work their way down the Denny Holmes straight, and Cassidy tries to go around the outside. It's not going going to work for him. Sometimes you just like to say to these guys, it's never going to work. It's never going to work for this man, Matthew Stubbs, and all sorts of bother. He has finally shaken the nose cone, or what's left of it, of Bramwell King's car off his, so he can get back into contention and at least pick up some points. But meantime, in the front, they're wheel to wheel down the back straight for the last time. Foster's got the nose in front. You picked it again, Cliff. He was second going into Higgins. He's leading as they come to the stripe. Ian Foster, the real estate man from Papatoe in Auckland, is going to win race number 3 of the Formula First here at Manfield. Shepherd will go across the line in second place. And what about the drive without the nose cone for Bramwell King in third? In fourth place, it was Nick Cassidy. In fifth, Matthew Gibson. And in sixth place, a good drive from Ryan Hallier. Eighth place went to Jamie Gaskin from Wellington. Further down through the field, Dave Ruthven comes through in ninth. Michael Neville is 10th. And Matthew Stubbs eventually finishes 15th.
Bramwell, you've impressed a lot of people. You're 12 years old. You're probably the youngest person that's ever been on the podium in New Zealand Championship for third place. Well done.
Thank you very much. Just over the moon at the moment. Just stayed about 6th through most of the race, and then the last couple of races the car came on and just took off.
Michael, looks like a very interesting start there, being the pole man, but looks like Matt Stubbs got round the outside.
Yeah, the starts, I mean, starting off pole's an advantage, I suppose, but hey, you know what it's like in Formula First. Doesn't really mean much at the beginning of the race, so it doesn't really worry me too much.
Yeah, and this time you got away cleanly at the start and you made it stick because you came home with the win.
Yeah, no, great win. Really happy. Really happy for the team, for Gary and Ayrton have helped this weekend, and yeah, just really good.